you know, he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Hey guys, it's Franky. Welcome to the think tank. So we're going to talk quickly about Lori Daybell. We know that her trial started, as well as Letitia Stout's. So I will be streaming this morning on the Letitia Stout case. So I thought what I would do is get a little information out on what's happening with Lori Daybell. So this here comes from Fox News, and what they're saying basically is that they have revealed bombshell details about the death of Chad Daybell's ex-wife. So I do have Fox in the description. Check them out. Let's see what Nancy has to say this morning. Come on, Nancy. Or not. Way too early in the morning to have to wait for Nancy. Come on, Nancy. Nancy! Wakey, wakey. Alrighty then. Have you guys been keeping track of East Idaho News? They've got right now the best information when it comes to the Daybell trial. That, I think his name's Nate Eaton, something along those lines. Amazing job he's doing. Almost like a minute-by-minute breakdown. Nancy? Come on, Nancy. I hope Jasmine isn't bothering you too bad in the back there. They don't like the dark. So as soon as it's like the sun sets, they kind of turn into little freaks. Oh my God, is Nancy going to be ready? Nancy. Nancy. You're buffering, Nancy. Sometimes.
Hyundai
Oh, there we
Tucson
go. Let's look at that
Honda
too.
CRV.
Not for long though.
Hyundai Tucson
Boom.
wins every.
Oh.
I want court-ordered justice. Back to you, Nate. How is this going to be proven? You mentioned text messages and phone calls and emails. Tell me, what do you know?
Well, we also know that there's witnesses. In fact, one of the key, not witnesses to the murder, but Lori's best friend was here the last time JJ was seen alive. In fact, he testified that Alex Cox carried JJ out in those same pajamas.
Oh my God.
The night before JJ was allegedly buried at Chad Daybell's house. And that very day, Lori had been talking about how JJ had turned into a zombie, that he was climbing all over the counters, that he knocked down a picture of Jesus. She was telling this best friend that. So that's pretty strong evidence there, I would imagine. You mentioned, is this a death penalty case? Yes, it could be. The prosecution has to say within 60 days if they're going to pursue the death penalty, a lot of people think the theory is that Chad and Lori may welcome that to see them die as martyrs.
I thought that was taken off the table, Nate.
If they truly
what
believe
cause?
religious beliefs.
Child murder? Killing your spouse just so you can shack up in a motel and have sex with somebody?
Ugh.
What? It's over in 20 minutes and then what?
Well, remember, Chad and Lori, Chad especially, believed they were the leaders of the 144,000 who would usher back the second coming.
Would you
And they were
please
trying to
stop
recruit-
talking about their zany beliefs? Please. They're using that as justification. Don't you remember D-Day's already come and gone? Wasn't it last summer that the world was supposed to come to an end? Haven't we gone over and over and over the part in the Bible that says very clearly, nobody knows when this is going to happen? They didn't even Christ say, I don't even know when it's going to happen. So how does Tammy Daybell know it's going to happen? But stop. You sound like you actually believe it, Nate Eaton. Can I get you out of the weeds and back into the middle of the road? The facts, the evidence. I want to hear, do you really believe they've got text messages? And would these two be that stupid to text about murder?
Of course they would. Nancy.
There is gigabytes and gigabytes and terabytes of evidence in the cloud, of electronic evidence, of texts, of Google searches, of emails. The indictment goes into a little bit about it.
Please tell me.
We've looked at that, haven't we? Okay, I'm just going to pause this when it'll let me. There we go. Advertisements everywhere. So there we go. That was fast and sweet, wasn't it? Not. So let's take a look over here. You guys looking forward to the trial later on this morning? Letitia Stouch, damn her. So they didn't say much there about Tammy Daybell's death, I guess. I expected that to be a little bit better. So Lori Vallow trial, courtroom gasps as prosecutors show children's bodies bound and dismembered. Are you effing kidding me now? So gasps broke out Monday morning in the Idaho courtroom where the woman dubbed Doomsday Mommy is being tried for her role in the death of her two children and her most recent husband's late wife. This is marriage number 5 for Lori. I think it's 2 for Chad. Prosecutors projected photos of the kids' remains onto a screen in the Boise courtroom. Prosecutors said that when they were found buried on Chad Daybell's property in June of 2020, 17-year-old Tylee Ryan's hands had been removed and 7-year-old JJ Vallow had been bound with duct tape. Oh, those mothers. Prosecutor alleged that Lori Vallow became radicalized in her religious beliefs, using them as a weapon in her plot to unalive her 17-year-old daughter, Tylee Ryan, and her 7-year-old adopted son, JJ Vallow. She's also charged with conspiring on her now husband, Chad Daybell, to make his wife, Tammy Daybell, disappear before they got married. 2 weeks it took them. Tammy died. 2 weeks they were bouncing down that beach in Hawaii. So this is what they're saying the case is about. Money, power, and sex. Well, what about rock and roll? That's what this case is about, Prosecutor Lindsay A. Blake told the 18 jurors Monday morning. Vallow and Daybell, an apocalyptic novelist, are accused of attacking their former spouses, Lori Daybell's 2 children, before fleeing to a vacation in Hawaii. They were caught. Vallow's late brother, Alex Cox, is accused of aiding and the alleged crimes, although he died in December of 2019. They're saying that his death was natural causes. I don't know. While they're pulling bodies out of the ground, I think they may as well grab Alex. The complicated web of crimes prosecutors have accused the couple of, as well as their doomsday religious beliefs, have developed widespread attention among true crime sleuths, not to mention, as well as the mainstream media. Spectators flock to the main courthouse in Ada County where they're being tried, as well as a second courthouse nearly 5 hours away where they can watch the trial streamed remotely. This is coming from the Insider. Check them out. In her opening statement, Blake told jurors that Vallow believed she had the ability to tell whether spirits were light or dark. Blake spoke about how Vallow shopped for wedding rings for herself and Daybell in early 2019 when both of their respective spouses and children were still alive. The two married on a beach in Hawaii 2 weeks after Daybell reported finding his wife Tammy unalive one morning in bed. Prior to her death, Daybell increased Tammy Daybell's life insurance policy. Vallow is also awaiting trial, as we know this started yesterday, in her alleged role in the planning and killing of her fourth husband, Charles Vallow. This is the one that Alex Cox eliminated. On July 11th, 2019, Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's brother, shot and killed Charles Vallow in Arizona and claimed self-defense. Yeah. Blake said Vallow and Daybell and her late brother, Alex Cox, are also accused of conspiring in the attempted shooting of the then husband of Vallow's niece, a man matching Cox's description, also fired a weapon at Daybell's late wife in her garage shortly before she died. Yeah, there had been an attempt before this. Daybell, a former grave digger from Springvale, Utah, ran a company with his wife that published books about near-death experiences and people's visions about the fall of the United States, Armageddon, and Rapture. Vallow, a former high school cheerleader in her native Southern California, was a beauty queen and a one-time Wheel of Fortune contestant who became a super fan of Daybell's books and podcasts. Oh, barf. She introduced herself to him in St. George, Utah in 2018 at a meeting for a group called Prepping a People. Good Lord. Blake said that when they met, Daybell explained to Vallow that they had a polygamous eternal marriage. Daybell told Vallow that she had once been the wife of the Mormon angel Moroni, but that he was also married to her in the days of Jesus. As Blake gave her opening statement, images of the 3 victims remain projected to the jury. Good on her. Blake also showed pictures of holes in Daybell's property in Salem, Idaho, where Tylee's, how do you put that? Okay, hopefully you can read that, and burned, and JJ's duct taped and bagged bodies were found cold in the ground in shallow graves. As Blake spoke, Vallow in a black jacket and black rimmed glasses with long wavy hair swiveled her head side to side to her lawyers and wrote vigorously on a yellow legal pad. Her ankles were bound by chain. I wonder if she's like writing on her legal pad in the way that Amber Heard was writing on her legal pad. In center benches in the hardwood paneled courtroom sat JJ's grandparents, Larry and Kay Woodcock, who had reported the children missing in 2019 after not hearing from them for months. Her attorney, Jim Archibald, said that in his opening statement that there is enough reasonable doubt to acquit Vallow. He said that at a time her children were attacked in Rexburg, Idaho, They were inside a different apartment. So what she's trying to say basically is that she had nothing to do with this. She was down the hall in a different apartment, and oops. He also said that she had been in Hawaii at the time of Tammy Daybell died. Just because she's not there geographically does not mean she didn't have something to do with this. Archie Bell described Vallow as a highly religious woman obsessed with the end of times. Those beliefs began to morph and change after she began a relationship with Daybell. Good Lord. I like, really? Things are going slow computer-wise, aren't they? Take a look at this, and I am just going to look for something that I can find on Tammy before we wrap up here. Power, money, and sex. Looking. Well, we're glad to see that Kay Woodcock and her husband are allowed in that courtroom because Lori and her team did fight it. A pretty overwhelming task. Uncle ID JJ testified in the Vallow trial. Can you imagine having to identify those children? Kay Woodcock. And I do believe her husband is able to be in there now too. Let's look here. See if we can just get a fast. So this is ABC News.
A mom, a case that's gotten attention around the world, even a Netflix documentary made about it. Lori Vallow is accused of murdering her 2 children in 2019 and of conspiring to kill her husband's ex-wife. And now prosecutors say that ex-wife, Tammy Daybell, in their words, died at the hands of another, killed from asphyxiation. Vallow's husband, Chad Daybell, is facing similar charges, but will be tried separately. The two are said to be members of a cult-like doomsday-focused religion and allegedly believe their children were possessed and became zombies. Both Daybell and Vallow pleaded not guilty. If convicted, Vallow could face up to life in prison. I want to bring in legal analyst Danny Savalos. And Danny, today was the beginning of what is expected to be a high-profile trial.
It would be nice if they were even airing it the same way that they are doing Letitia Stouch's case, or Stouch. It would be nice, just so we've got an idea what's going on there. I know that us seeing it is not priority in these cases, but being that we all pay such close attention. Oh, sorry, NBC, not ABC, friends. Being we're all following it, it would be really nice to be able to give more up-to-date information than having to wait until the end of the trial day.
That will last for weeks here, maybe 10 weeks. We saw prosecutors come out and lay out very clearly that they believe that Tammy Daybell was killed by somebody else, making the case against Lori Vallow here.
Yeah, and most of the time, I try to give you a prosecution and defense even-handed situation scenario so you can figure out which arguments you want to follow. This is not one of those cases. I've reviewed the affidavit of probable cause back when they were still looking when they were only charging the defendants with child endangerment, not child endangerment, but, you know, abandoning the children.
Right.
And this is what we call in defense land a dead bang loser. The only reason to take this case to trial is probably because the clients are insisting on it for whatever reason, because otherwise this is a case based on the alleged facts, if they're true, that you do everything you can to try to secure a plea deal. Or
that's exactly what I was wondering about some of these cases. Same thing with the Gannon Stouch case. I don't know why Letitia is fighting this. I really, really don't. But she's chosen to, And I find it heartbreaking because now the families have to watch this. Can you imagine being JJ and Tylee's family seeing what they had to see yesterday? It is disturbing.
The stakes are so high and the prison sentences are so long, there's no reason not to go to trial. That could be another reason to go to trial because there's simply no other option, and even a plea deal just isn't appetizing enough.
Yeah. The media piece of this is really interesting here as we're showing some sketches from court because this case got so much attention when it was developing here. Has that played into the case so far?
Media attention can always play into a case, and all things being equal, I suppose the needle bends slightly towards preferring not to have a high-profile case as opposed to having a case that nobody's heard of. So generally speaking, high media attention can be bad for a defendant, but it can also be bad for the prosecution too. It injects a bit of the unknown into a case because you have a jury pool and you simply don't know how much the jury pool has heard about the case, or even if you have what's called a stealth juror, perhaps a juror that is against the defendant, has heard about the defendant, and will say whatever they need to get onto the jury, but secretly or stealthily plan to convict. That's something that defense attorneys are frequently afraid of, and that's something that media attention can create.
Agreed, right, guys? Agreed. Let me just pause this thing before it starts yelling at me. See if we can find
the last couple of hours.
There we are. I just want to spot on Tammy Daybell. Prosecutor said at Lori Vallow's murder trial Monday that her ex-husband's ex-wife, Tammy Daybell, died of asphyxiation. So yes, homicide. Vallow is charged with conspiracy to commit and grand theft in connection with the deaths of her two children, Joshua J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, her 16-year-old daughter. Now, Tammy Daybell is added onto that list. Her trial did start on April 3rd, basically with jury selection. And yesterday was the first day of testimony. No cameras, no audio in the court at this time. So Tammy was found in October of 2019, again, believed to be natural causes. I don't know why they wouldn't have done something at that point because she was a little bit young to be dying in her sleep. So they've exhumed her, conducted an autopsy, and ruled her death homicide. Fremont County, Idaho prosecutor Lindsay Blake revealed that results of the autopsy and opening arguments of the trial on Monday morning. According to NBC, Tammy was married to Chad Daybell for 28 years. Damn. Chad Daybell is charged with this offense and accused of committing insurance fraud related to her death. Tammy Daybell died just a few months after Lori Vallow's brother, Alex Cox, had shot and killed Lori's ex-husband, Charles Vallow. A grand jury charged Lori with conspiracy to commit and first degree nearly 2 years after his death. The county attorney's office in Maricopa County, Arizona said she will be tried separately in Arizona in that case. He passed away in 2019, and we're talking about Alex Cox here, died in 2019, and he was never charged. We do know that Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell married just 2 weeks after Tammy Daybell's funeral. Oh my word. Lori Vallow's infidelity with Chad Daybell 12 days before he died and threatened to tell Tammy Daybell. Prosecutors believe Vallow and Chad Daybell became obsessed with doomsday-focused religious beliefs that led them to commit a series of 4 deaths, those of Vallow's children and each of their former spouses. Sadly, there is more. Sadly, there is more. Let's see here. Not guilty is her plea, of course. Come on. I don't have to watch you. We don't have to wait for you. Vallow has pled not guilty to charges of the attack, conspiracy, grand theft, deaths of Joshua and Tylee, who were 7 and 16 when they disappeared in September 2019. Their disappearances sparked a months-long search for these kids, and police eventually found their remains on a rural Idaho property belonging to Chad Daybell. Oh. Is there movement there? Come on. Police uncovered the remains in June 2020 after they searched the property in Fremont. Chad Daybell was arrested on charges of destruction, alteration, and concealment of evidence, as well as desertion. Days later, police confirmed that the remains had been identified of those of Joshua and Tylee. Court documents later revealed that Joshua's remains had been buried in a pet cemetery and that Tylee had been dismembered and burned in a fire pit. Oh. Doesn't this just make you see red? Who the hell do these people think they are? Well, obviously nobody from our atmosphere. They believe that their higher powers been married repeatedly, spent all of eternity together. They're just supposed to be together for the rest of eternity. Oh, gag me. So it doesn't look like that one wants to kick in, so I'm not going to bother with it. Everything's running a little bit slow as far as my systems go, but we do have a pretty good look at what happened yesterday in court. And tomorrow is another day of fun. And today we will look at this, I'm hoping, later on this evening and see what happened today. And I will try and do an update either later this evening or tomorrow morning. So guys, thank you very much for spending the time with me. I appreciate you. If you have anything to add, please do. I love to see the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.